sont pris par le train.
Okay. Athanase.
No, please call me later. Call me later. Sorry for traffic. Yeah. I think we have the rest are coming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so we will wait for them.
Good morning.
Morning. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Sorry. We could.
Okay.
Welcome.
So we'll get that come
So
from.
the CDM, they are just behind us. The CDM.
10 minutes, alors on va être assis ici. Ensuite, on va être comme des scientistes qui vont aller se promener autour. Alors, c'est le temps de prendre votre petit goûter. Alors, je vous laisse.
Il y a l'anglais aussi.
So, before the presentation begins, help yourself to coffee and a few muffins because we'll be here sitting for the next, let's say, 15 minutes or
45 minutes.
45 minutes. 45 minutes. So it's time to grab coffee and a quick snack because we'll be here for a while. Afterwards, during the tour, forget about it. You know, coffee and snacks will stay in here. So now's the time to grab a little bite and we'll get started.
And there is some Wi-Fi.
Oh, yeah.
If people want, and that's the password is super simple.
If anybody needs Wi-Fi access, it's written on the boards. Quelqu'un a besoin le Wi-Fi, l'accès à l'Internet, c'est indiqué sur en arrière de vous. Salle de bain, washrooms, just en sortant ici. Washrooms, just out this door there, left or right, you'll find them there.
Thank you.
Je les avais aidés quand ils sont arrivés au Toronto. Je les ai aidés avec
S'il y a quelqu'un ici?
From all sizes, helping them take their ideas to market. My esteemed colleagues to my left, Javier Plananich is our pilot plant manager, and Alphonsus Yuto is the manager of product and process development. And he's going to talk to you today about how our model can translate into other countries and other jurisdictions to help brainstorm some ideas for discussion after the presentation. Thank you.
Pour les services de traduction, là, je vais faire ça. Ça va être bref. Ça existe depuis 1978. Il y a des centres comme ça un peu partout dans le pays. Chacun a sa vocation. Celui-ci est très unique. Au niveau de la transformation des produits agricoles pour la commercialisation, c'est probablement le centre de la maison mère pour le Canada. C'est vraiment la place de choix. Et il y a Alfonso qui va se présenter aussi, et Xavier, qui, je sais la prononciation en français, mais d'origine croate, qui est aussi le gérant pour tout le plan ici, l'usine.
Bonjour mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue à Portage la Prairie, bienvenue au Centre de recherche agroalimentaire. And I would like to take you through the process of how we started. And my name is Alphonsus Future. I'm in charge of the research and development activities here. In fact, as you were taking the coffee, actually, you probably saw the picture there. And that picture actually shows the evolution of the food sector. We started in 1978. You could see we started very small, humble beginnings. And then we grew, and finally we are here. The final expansion we did in 2012.
Bon, pour ceux qui ont eu l'opportunité de prendre le café et les fruits, vous avez pu voir toute l'évolution pour ce qui est du centre de développement alimentaire. Et ça a été des débuts très humbles, très petits, mais on peut voir que ça il y a une croissance très rapide.
So what I would like to talk to you about today is the Food Development Center. Who are we? What do we do? Who are our clients? How are we funded? What are the services and capabilities that we provide to the food industry? And what types of projects? And I'll give example of some of the African crops, how those could be transformed into different value-added products.
Alors, c'est toutes qui nous sommes, qui sont la clientèle, quel genre de produits est-ce qu'ils transforment. Il va donner des exemples très pertinents par rapport à l'Afrique. Il y a eu des collaborations par le passé qui font déjà des projets. Et on aura une belle tournée de l'usine.
Like my colleague, Robin indicated, we are a special operating agency of the province of Manitoba. We are owned by the province of Manitoba. And it's the designation of special operating agency allows us to operate as a business so that we can respond to industry quickly. If it is the resources we need in terms of people, if it is equipment in terms of what we need, because industry moves fast. So we work directly with industry to transform agri-food products.
C'est une société de la couronne, fonctionne comme une entité privée, et ça au nom de l'efficacité et aussi de leur capacité de pouvoir être rapide lorsque vient le temps de travailler avec l'industrie et avec les gens qui font affaire avec le centre.
And because we are owned by the province funds us partially. And the rest of our funds, our budget, comes from the work we do with industry, the research we do with industry, the product we develop for industry, and giving them the facility to produce a product and sell.
Alors, ils sont à recouvrement de fonds, ils reçoivent un pourcentage de la province, alors une partie de leur financement vient de la province. Et pour le reste, il faut qu'ils travaillent et puis qu'il y ait toute la commercialisation et les profits de ça qui leur permettent de survivre.
And what's the benefit to the province then? What is the benefit to the government? The rule then for the government, what they see us then as engine of economic development, to be able to create jobs and stimulate economic activity in the agri-food sector in this province.
Alors, leur rôle, c'est simple, hein, ils sont là, c'est un engin pour le développement économique. Pour eux, c'est de pouvoir stimuler l'économie, créer de l'emploi et assurer la transformation agricole des produits.
So what would you say our mission is? It's first to provide expertise in terms of the scientists we have here, and provide also the capabilities in terms of the facility here, including equipment, including space. And then the ultimate goal is when we develop products, what we want to see is the product on the market, actually. And what that does then, through that mission we have, to help stimulate economic activities in this province.
On est mis sur 3 choses. La première, qui est très importante, c'est de pouvoir miser sur l'expertise locale. Vous allez voir, c'est des gens très, très, très doués dans le domaine, disons, de la recherche et de la commercialisation. Puis, en terminant, c'est d'avoir vraiment un impact tant le milieu urbain que sur les communautés rurales. Alors, la transformation, c'est vraiment un enjeu de l'heure pour le Manitoba.
And in terms of the structure we have the management team. The management team is made of Robin John, Chief Operating Officer, Javier, my colleague there, who is in charge of the pilot plant and commercial processing here, and we have Roberta Irving, who is in charge of business development. She is at another meeting today. She is really the first point of contact for companies that want to work with us, to be able to evaluate, to ensure that company is ready to come and work with us. And I'm in charge of the research. We have about 13 scientists. The 13 scientists, we have food engineers, we have food chemists, and we have microbiologists, we have technologists, and technicians. And we also have administrative staff. So it's very lean, about 25 staff altogether. But we do have, as you will see later on, we can have casual staff to be able to help in the production of products for the companies.
Okay. Alors ça, c'est ni plus ni moins les gens qu'on a rencontrés tout à l'heure. Robin, Roberta est absente aujourd'hui, peut-être la voir plus tard. Alphonsus, représentation. Il y a 13 scientifiques qui appuient le centre ici, et puis dans des domaines très variés, de la chimie jusqu'à la phytologie, tout ce qu'on peut imaginer. Des techniciens pour l'usine et aussi des gens pour le secrétariat et tout ça.
And who do we work with? Who are our clients? What kinds of people will come to work with us here? It's mostly food companies. And they could be small, medium, they could be very large companies. Except when you came out here, you saw McCain's actually. They do about 2 million pounds of potatoes per day, actually processed. So with these big companies, why would they come to work with us? Because they cannot do research in a production facility. They will come to a pilot plant like this. We develop the product or the process or the technology for them, and then we help them transfer it back to their plant.
Alors, ils font affaire avec des grosses compagnies. On a pu voir partie de McCain en rentrant ici tout à l'heure. Ils n'ont pas les moyens, ces grosses compagnies-là, de faire leur propre recherche. Alors, ils ont recours au service du centre. Et puis, ce qui est intéressant, c'est de voir aussi qu'ils travaillent aussi avec les plus petits. Alors, mais la dimension qui va vous intéresser, c'est celle de l'international. Comme que ce soit le Burkina Faso, le DA, ils ont une très bonne connaissance sur tous ces plantes-là. D'ailleurs, il y avait eu des projets en émergence par rapport à ça. Alors, tout ça, là, ça fait partie de la vocation de ce centre. C'est régional, national, mais aussi international.
So to say that too, is that yes, we work primarily for Manitoba companies, but we work across the country. We have projects in the US, we have projects that we've worked in China, we have projects that we've done in Europe, we have a project that we have in Kenya, we have one project now that we are working in Nigeria. Then the agricultural commodities. These are clients too, because people that grow grains, the industry association, the meat, the fruits and vegetables, they want to add value to their crops for their members. So those people would come to us, contract us to do research, to say if we grow potato or if we grow cassava, what types of products can be produced from these? And in turn, we'll pass that information to their members to help expand their industry.
Alors, ça c'est une autre section. On disait, c'est tout au niveau des des ressources agricoles. Prenons la pomme de terre, bon, il y a l'amidon, alors souvent ces compagnies-là, les associations viennent les voir pour voir quelles sont les opportunités et les choses qu'on peut faire avec ces produits-là. Alors c'est une des spécialités du centre, c'est de trouver ces valeurs ajoutées.
We work with research organizations, universities, countries that have research institutions. We partner with them. We partner with research institutions in Europe or other places in China to be able to, where they do not have expertise, they can draw from us. And where we do not have expertise, we can partner with them. So there's a lot of collaboration that takes place here also.
Donc vraiment, c'est un modèle de collaboration qui va dans les deux sens. Si l'expertise est ailleurs, ils vont la chercher. Si eux ont l'expertise, ils l'offrent. Mais tout ça se fait dans une approche qui est bilatérale.
We work with entrepreneurs, people that just have ideas. For example, they have McCain's, they produce French fries, the byproduct, they create a lot of starch. But the company may not want to work with a byproduct. An entrepreneur would go say, I can collect your byproduct, the starch, and that becomes my raw material to make value-added product. It is a company like that that we work with, started as an individual, and today they have a company called Manitoba Starch, where they collect waste material here and add value and create a different product from it.
On vient de donner un exemple par rapport à la pomme de terre. On peut produire l'amidon à partir de ça, et il y a une compagnie qui s'est spécialisée justement dans la transformation parce qu'il y avait une abondance de ce produit-là ici. D'ailleurs, on sait qu'on peut faire du sucre à partir de ça, qui n'a pas d'effet sur les caries dentaires et tout ça. Alors, c'est incroyable les développements qu'il y a au niveau, disons, de ces sous-produits qu'on retire de la pomme de terre, dans l'amidon.
The sectors we cover, because we are the only food development center in our province here, we cover all the sectors. So basically, anybody that works in this area that wants to add value, they would come and work with us. Whether it's the fruits and vegetables to eggs, including the byproducts. The eggs, you have eggshells, for example. We've worked with people to take these eggshells and turn it into calcium, the tablets that we take in multivitamins.
C'est tous les produits. Alors, vous pouvez des fruits en passant par la viande, des poissons. Ils donnent l'exemple des coquilles d'œufs parce qu'ils prennent la coquille pour faire justement les sous-produits avec le calcium. C'est très, très, très varié. Et puis même le poisson, parce que les gens ne le savent pas. Le Manitoba, pour le poisson, j'en ajoute un petit peu parce que c'est d'intérêt. Poisson d'eau douce, on est les plus gros producteurs au Canada. Alors, à cause du lac Manitoba, le lac Winnipeg, le lac Winnipegosis, vous avez vu les étendues d'eau ici au Manitoba, c'est très grand. Alors, c'est une industrie qui est très importante. I've added the fish and I put in the plug for sale.
Yes,
My community.
Yes, exactly. And that's true because now, actually, in this province, actually, the fish used to be handled through a corporation, a fish corporation, but today, the fishers can harvest it, process it on their own, don't have to go to the marketing board, actually.
Depuis Noël, le mois de décembre l'an passé, on avait, pour la mise en marché, c'était tout contrôlé par une entité. Maintenant, les producteurs ont l'opportunité de pouvoir faire leur propre développement dans le marché. C'est une nouveauté pour le Manitoba.
People ask, why would you want to do food processing, actually? Really very simple. We have, through my work, I've visited some of the developing countries, actually African countries also, and sometimes when you walk through, you will see more fruits on the ground than you see on the tree. There is a lot of food product. In fact, they could even be self-sufficient. The problem is preservation. There is no way to save the food for tomorrow. So food preservation is the key, actually, to why people want to move this here.
Alors, ici, l'enjeu pour la transformation, c'est de pouvoir sauver toutes les pertes agricoles qu'on connaît. On sait que dans certains cas, certaines cultures, ça va jusqu'à 70%. Alors, c'est important de pouvoir trouver des solutions de transformation pour ne pas perdre ces denrées agricoles.
And most importantly is this here. It's actually, it grows the economy and actually provide economic empowerment, particularly in the rural communities, actually. The importance of food processing.
Alors, dans le fond, la chose essentielle, c'est l'économie, la création d'emplois, création d'écosystèmes sur le plan économique au niveau des communautés rurales.
So our business lines is basically, we go from research. Once we do the research, we test what is in the food products in terms of the nutritional qualities of the food product. We then looked at actually how the food tastes. Because no matter how good the product is, how healthy people say the product is, if it doesn't taste good, the consumer will only buy it once. So sensory is very important. We do the shelf life to see how long would that product stay on the shelf. So that when you take it and you keep it on the shelf, you know how long it would be. What is it going to be refrigerated or is going to be at room temperature? And when we have finished that, we help people then transfer that process, transfer that technology back to their place. Or transfer that technology to them so that they can work with Javier to produce the product in the pilot plant here and sell actually. So here you can sell everything we produced.
Okay. Alors, un élément très important, c'est le goût dans les aliments. À part de faire toute l'analyse phytologique, tout ça, ils ont des stations, vous allez voir ça plus tard. Donc c'est vraiment la clé, parce que si c'est pas bon, personne n'en mange. La durée de vie sur l'étagère, très importante lorsqu'on pense exportation, surtout avec les containers, les systèmes de réfrigération, et évidemment le transfert technologique pour que le client puisse poursuivre son initiative ailleurs.
These are some of our partners that we work with. We have Richardson Center at the University of Manitoba. We have Manitoba Pulse Growers. They are industry group. They grow pulse, beans, lentils, and chickpea. The reason they come to us is because they want to add value to those commodities so that their members can benefit from it, rather than get the commodities, sell to other people, and then they turn around, sell the finished product back to you. So they want to do the processing here. That's why they work with us. We work with National Research Council of Canada. They support research because they know the benefit of research, helping companies to fund research. So they may fund a project 50% because research is expensive. So government recognizes that and then said, okay, if you want to embark on that innovation, we are willing to share the risk. And then we give you 50% of the money to be able to do the work.
Alors, c'est l'exemple du bailleur de fonds. Je commence par la queue, l'Institut de recherche du Conseil national. Moi, jusqu'à hauteur de 50%, c'est des montants pour encourager la recherche afin d'assurer la transformation. Mais vraiment, comme vous pouvez voir, beaucoup de partenaires qui ont toute une expérience. Vous savez que fait le soya, toute la soya bean, toutes ces choses-là, c'est des inventions, c'est des trucs qui émergent de l'Université du Manitoba, comme le centre Richardson. Alors, ils ont vraiment des partenaires de choix, et puis c'est important au niveau de la recherche d'avoir ces riches partenariats.
And we work with this group too, CIGI, the Canadian International Grains Institute. In fact, their expertise is in grain research, grain processing. They go about to countries where the Canadians sell the wheat to different countries, the grains to different countries. They go there actually to show them how they can better use that Canadian grain to be able to make bread, make different products. In fact, just last March, they came back from Nigeria, where they went to provide training to bakery companies on how to use the Canadian wheat that they purchased to be able to make good bread. Before that, in December, they were also in Ghana to be able to show how they can use Canadian wheat. So they provide that training aspect also. And this one here, there are about 12 food technology centers in Canada. They're all partners that we work with, actually. Almost every province has something similar to what we have here.
On a l'exemple de Sylvie, par rapport aux grains canadiens. On est un gros exportateur de grains au monde. Et puis, pour s'assurer qu'au niveau de la transformation et de l'utilisation, alors, il donne un exemple avec le Nigeria, un exemple aussi avec le Ghana, où est-ce qu'on a des experts canadiens, dont la mission vient de cet organisme-là, qui vont pour s'assurer qu'il y ait un bon contrôle qualité, mais une bonne utilisation des grains qu'on exporte pour s'assurer de la qualité du produit.
And regulations, in order to be able to produce product and sell. Here, in fact, the one pride that Canada really has is food safety. That is why people will come here to buy food products here and ship it to other countries to sell. Food safety is very, very important. So this center is actually licensed by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, so that any product that is produced here, we can be able to sell in Manitoba, across Canada, or in some cases, sell it to other countries. So that to work in this plant, your process and product must be HACCP recognized. So we implement a HACCP program here. We can also do work for people that grow organic, and they want to produce organic product and label their product as organic. We also, some of you may not be familiar with hemp, but we also work with hemp. But this is what we call the food hemp, actually, that we do development work here.
Alors, l'Agence canadienne d'inspection des aliments, c'est toute la question de la réglementation. Alors, ici, il y a possibilité d'obtenir cette certification. Et tout le laboratoire, l'usine est certifié par rapport à la norme 30. Pour les produits organiques, c'est aussi, ils sont en mesure de pouvoir donner la certification. Et on travaille beaucoup avec le chanvre, l'industrie du chanvre, qui est très importante. Donc, vous savez, Sainte-Agathe, on a la plus grosse usine au monde de transformation de chanvre, d'où l'importance de la collaboration avec le centre.
Some of the technologies that we have here, there is a technology for extraction to be able to take your product, extract a good ingredient from it, and then use it as an ingredient that can go into different food products. In terms of oil extraction or juice extraction, we have different drying techniques so that you could preserve your product and without refrigeration. We also have different heat treatment processes that can allow you to be able to produce food product that are actually shelf stable. Very similar to what you have like canning. That is not in a can, it's in a pouch. Like something like beans, for example, we are very familiar with beans. Beans takes a long time to cook. But we can use this technology, produce a product into a pouch that you just pour into your dish. And you don't have to actually cook it. We can also take these beans, instead of taking an hour to cook, we reduce it to cooking time of about 10 minutes.
Alors, ils sont équipés pour faire l'extraction. Par exemple, les graines de lin sont en mesure de pouvoir faire l'extraction, retirer l'huile, tout ça. Il y a tous ces équipements-là ici, que ce soit des presses ou tous les autres systèmes de la technologie d'extraction. Pour les techniques de séchage, il y a différents systèmes. Vous allez voir ça tantôt pendant la visite. Et il donnait l'exemple des fèves, où est-ce qu'au lieu de prendre 1 heure pour faire la cuisson, ils peuvent faire ça en 10 minutes. Et puis avec un système de transformation qui fait que on peut la consommer à l'aide de ces techniques-là. Alors on va pouvoir voir ça tout à l'heure.
And in terms of bar making, snacks, food, actually extrusion. So we have ability to be able to process that here. Different freezing, actually, where you want to be able to freeze the product, particularly fruits, actually, small fruits. When you harvest small fruit, they spoil very quickly. So it's important to find it, to chill it very quickly, so before you even get to freeze it. So we have processes for that. And then most importantly, packaging, actually. We hear the saying is not what is on the cover, but look at what is inside the book. But in the food industry, packaging is very important. Okay. Because how you package your product will attract a customer or a consumer to take up the product on the shelf and look at it. So packaging is very important, and we provide that. On the meat side, we also provide different technologies to create different meat products.
The freezing is a flash freezing?
Yeah, flash freezing. Yeah.
Alors, pour ceux qui sont familiers avec les barres de granola, les barres sportives, ici vous allez voir, ils ont plusieurs beaux projets. La réfrigération est faite de façon immédiate. C'est vraiment des techniques vraiment rapides pour éviter qu'il y ait une contamination ou perte de qualité du produit. Mais le plus important, c'est l'emballage. L'emballage, comme on sait, pour la durée de vie sur les étagères, c'est vraiment essentiel. Et ils vont nous montrer un peu aussi pour les systèmes, pour les bouteilles, tout ça, comment c'est fait ici au centre.
Then, how do we work? I'm sure people ask that, then how long does it take to produce a product and get it to the market? It's a common question we get, how long does it take? We say it can take anywhere from 6 months to 18 months. It depends on the type of product. That if you want to just take your wheat or take your maize or corn and then turn it into flour, that's very simple. It can be done relatively quickly. But if you wanted to take that maize, put with rice, put with vegetables, and then put with dessert on the same tray, so that when people take it and they can basically refrigerate or microwave to be able to, it will take a little bit longer. If you're looking to take your grain to extract, like protein is very important, to extract protein and then use that protein into a product, then it's going to take close to that 18 months, because to be able to develop the technique, to know how you will extract the protein, get the right protein, the right quality protein, and then see how you would incorporate that either into your drink or into your bakery product, it will take time.
Alors, 6 à 18 mois, c'est à peu près le montant de temps normalement pour le développement d'un produit. Si vous voulez aller dans des choses plus compliquées comme l'extraction de protéines, là, c'est un autre défi. Et c'est probablement, on aura des exemples tout à l'heure de ce genre de produit-là. Mais normalement, 6 à 18 mois, c'est le temps qu'il faut, disons, imaginer pour le développement d'un produit du début à la fin.
And to be able to speed up the work is all in the preparation. How prepared is the client? So what we have is we work with Manitoba Agriculture, where we are under. And the Manitoba Agriculture, they have people that are called business development specialists. So they would work with the clients to ensure that the client, the product is having an idea, that he has done market research, he knows how will we sell, how he or she is going to sell the product, how is he going to market the product, does he have people in place, just basically to get the person understand that you're not developing a product, you're wanting to get into the food business. So are you ready for that? So they do that evaluation of that client to ensure that that client is ready. And at that stage, you may have about 10 people that want to come and develop food products. After having that meeting, almost like a seminar, then they will realize, oh, I'm not quite ready yet. So maybe only 3 will move on to come and work with us. So preparation is very important.
Ça, c'est une partie très importante. Je travaille avec le ministère de l'Agriculture, avec des gens qui sont spécialisés dans la mise en marché et qui vont vraiment faire une évaluation et puis aider le client à évaluer s'il est prêt pour aller vers le marché. Et à ce point-là, les experts vont vraiment l'emmener à réaliser que des fois, il faut mieux attendre Et parce que l'idée, c'est pas de développer un produit, mais c'est d'aller en affaires et d'avoir un produit qui est commercialisable. Le business, à la fin de la journée, c'est ce qui compte.
And once that they pass that stage and they now want to come to work with us, so what we will then do, we'll sit down with the company or with the individual, review the work, and then come up with a proposal. And what that proposal contains is it tells the company what the project is, what we are going to do, how we are going to do it, how many people would be on the team, how long would that project take, and how much would that project cost. And that is a complete package proposal that we send to the company.
Lorsqu'ils ont passé cette étape-là, et puis que les gens ont passé à ce niveau-ci, l'équipe ici développe un genre d'entente avec eux pour leur dire combien de gens vont travailler sur le produit, combien de temps ça va prendre. Alors c'est un peu le développement du contrat. Et c'est fait de façon très professionnelle. C'est pas comme les avocats, là, c'est pas 20 pages, c'est très succinct. 2-3 pages, mais terre à terre.
And sometimes the companies say, of course, the price is high. We always hear that. Yes. But we will then negotiate, work with the company. At that stage, the company, if they're a Manitoba company or Canadian company, they may ask, do you know of a government program that I could access to assist in this work? And we actually can assist them, point them to the government funding program that we can help them apply so that they can get support. And if they have money, we will just sign on the dotted line and it becomes a contract and we start to work.
Ça, c'est assez comique parce que c'est à ce moment-là qu'ils donnent l'évaluation d'un estimé au client. Puis généralement, c'est toujours trop d'argent. Alors, Alfonso les dirige vers les programmes gouvernementaux qui sont, j'imagine, pour les résidents du Canada, pour les compagnies. Et là, de ces programmes-là, ils arrivent à trouver un compromis pour financer une partie des dépenses. Parce qu'il faut imaginer que quand tu as 5 ou 6 experts qui travaillent sur un projet, ça coûte de l'argent. For them, when there's 5 to 6 experts on one project, it's costly.
Yes, it is. Then, once we get the contract, then we basically will go to the lab, develop the product to create the prototype. But the difference is, because we know we are not the one going to sell the product. It's you, the company, or you, the individual, will sell the product. So our research is actually, you are part of that research so that you understand what is going on. You understand how the product is put together so that you can speak to your product actually when you leave here. So there is a training component during that research. So you become part of that research team. We do work, we'll send the product to you, you get the feedback actually to make sure that we are in line to what the end goal is for the product that you want.
Ça, c'est très intéressant. Il y a toute une partie responsabilisation, habilitation. Lorsqu'ils développent le produit, vous faites partie de l'équipe. Vous êtes à la table pour que vous soyez en mesure de comprendre par la suite, parce que pour être bon vendeur ou bien comprendre ce que vous avez, il est important de pouvoir vous asseoir et de pouvoir profiter de la vulgarisation qu'ils vont vous offrir et de pouvoir comprendre ce qui se passe.
And once we finish it, you have two options. You've got your product. For companies that are outside of Manitoba, they'll contract us to produce the product, package it, and ship to them. For local companies, they can come to the plant here. We will train them on how they can produce their product. They can run some of the equipment, but the sophisticated equipment, our technicians will run the equipment. They can then produce the product and sell. So you have two options. We can produce a product for you, or you can come here and produce a product and sell. So you actually don't have to go and build a plant until you prove that you have a market for your product and people want your product. So you could stay here as long as you want to produce that product. When you finish selling, you phone my colleague Javier to say, I need to book the plant to come and produce more product. And that is how people work here.
Ouais, ils ont un système super intéressant. C'est un système d'incubation. Donc, quand vous débutez, soit qu'ils développent le produit, ils font toute la mise en marché pour vous, pour l'extérieur du pays. Ou si c'est juste pour le local, vous pouvez venir ici, vous allez voir tout à l'heure dans la visite, et ils vont vous accompagner pour justement tout faire ce processus-là. Et vous avez tout est en bas, vous avez la réfrigération, tout ça, ils sont équipés pour vous aider dans les premiers mois, les premières années. What's the average time? 2-3 years before they're ready to go out?
In fact, we have people here that have been here for 15 years.
Oh, I love you.
Yeah, because it is expensive to go and build a plant and put all the equipment. So we have people that are here for it. But if you grow very fast and your product sells better and you're unable to build that plant, in some cases we can find an outside company that can help you produce a product at a larger quantities.
Souvent, bâtir votre propre usine de transformation, ça peut être très coûteux. Alors, eux, ils ont vraiment toutes sortes de formules, même qu'ils peuvent trouver d'autres prestataires pour vous aider et puis trouver d'autres collaborateurs. Alors, ils ont plusieurs formules pour vous aider à grandir et à ne pas investir inutilement de l'argent dans de grosses infrastructures.
And we also have, in fact, what we call a resident tenant here. And they actually have they have signed a 5-year agreement with us to stay here, produce their product, and sell. So we provide the infrastructure, the building, the power, the electricity, the water, the air, the boiler, whatever they need, steam. But then the equipment inside the building belongs to them. They hire their own people and they work. So it's basically a separate company that is co-located here and then producing their products.
C'est un peu le système d'incubation auquel je faisais référence. Vous pouvez venir ici et puis avoir votre propre petite entreprise ici. Et c'est vos équipements, puis vous pouvez être en train de développer et faire toute votre mise en marché. Vous faites partie de la grande famille du Food Development Center.
Just a typical example, actually. I chose this because it's very common in this matter of Canada, Nigeria, China. You have fruits. A lot we eat it as fresh fruits. But you could take that fruit, transform it. But you know, you can. There are oils in the seeds. The avocado oil, for example, we have here. We have berry, the seeds, that have seeds. We can extract that oil, and in some cases, the oil we extract from these seeds, some of them are about $1,000 a liter. And you could take the fruit. When you process it, we call it pulp. Some people chew it and throw it out. But you could take it and be able to put it into a bar so that you have fiber and protein in your pot. We can take the fruit and make it into juice or wine. You could take the fruit and make it into powder so that you can add it as an ingredient or add it into your yogurt and so on. So the different things that you could do when you take a commodity, you take a crop, what our goal is to basically see how can you process it to have zero waste in your plant.
Oui, vraiment, il donne un exemple très simple, partir d'un fruit, juste avec un noyau, ils arrivent à faire des sous-produits qui peuvent valoir jusqu'à $1,000 le litre. On a des exemples comme au Burkina, vous appelez ça le dam, la plante avec les petits fruits rouges. Et ils connaissent ça ici. Ils ont déjà fait des études sur les possibilités, et ça c'est un exemple. Là, l'exemple du vin qui est important pour certaines personnes, mais vraiment, quand vous regardez, il y a l'exemple d'un pulpe, il y a toutes sortes de possibilités, et souvent, c'est en prenant de ces sous-produits-là, les ajoutant à une barre de granola, par exemple, qu'ils développent quelque chose qui gagne.
Another example, soybean, is very common. We know soybean is to extract it, to take soybean and get the oil, and then you get the meal. But soybean is more than oil and meal. The same thing as canola is more than oil and meal. So you can take that, the meal, we can take it and create protein from it. Today, protein is very, very, particularly plant protein, is very much in high demand all over the world, actually. You could take it, some people do it for animal feed, or you could take that soybean, make it into fufu. Then when you create ingredient like this, flour, protein, you could then use it for different, you could sell it for people that want to make what they call vegetarian meat product, like vegetarian burgers, for example, and sell it to this. So this ingredient becomes a product you're selling it to other people, actually.
La soyabine, c'est sa grande culture pour l'Ouest, pour le Manitoba, Saskatchewan. Et il donne un exemple de tout ce qui peut être fait, soit pour la nourriture animale, pour la consommation humaine, mais aussi pour la transformation, parce qu'il fait du tofu ou tout autre de produits à l'aide de la protéine dont on fait l'extraction. Alors voilà un exemple.
Just to run, we have things again, the same thing with bananas. You can take bananas and create so many different products. Also, you can get banana powder, you can get banana chips, different types of product again from banana, for example.
Je donne un exemple juste avec la banane. Ils font des croustilles ici avec ça, ils font de la poudre. Il n'y a pas de limite, ça dépend des opportunités.
And the yams, actually, for those of us actually from African origin that are here, actually, we look for this called fufu. Actually, this is our replacement here for fufu, actually, and they're very expensive, actually. So what do we make do, actually? So you could take that yam, create it into flour. You could do the same thing with plantain, for example, actually, and create it into flour, actually. For export market, particularly for Africans overseas, because I don't think they can do without their fufu.
C'est l'exemple de Liliane, un exemple avec un produit africain, il a parlé aussi du plantou, c'est ça. C'est tous des produits dont ils sont résidents ici.
So typical products, as far as I said, some of the things that we've done is, you see they're all in the finished product stage. So we can do things that people that have, whether it's birch sap, we can create that into syrup. We have worked with cheese to help people do different types of cheese. This is actually a product, they call it Zobo in Nigeria. It's actually a company that they have the concept actually, where they actually grow the hibiscus in Nigeria, harvest the flowers, dry the flowers, put the flowers into container, send it to Canada so that we can help them develop the product actually. So hibiscus is not grown here. It's actually imported raw material.
C'est un exemple de ce qu'il fait ici avec justement un produit qui est produit au Nigeria et qui est transformé ici et qui est très populaire pour la santé. L'exemple de produit manitobain, il ne manque pas d'originalité. C'est pas le sirop d'érable, mais c'est quelque chose de comparable avec du BOUDO. Et ça, c'est une compagnie manitobaine dans le domaine du fromage qui a une réputation internationale, New Boutwell. Et puis, ça, c'est des exemples de collaboration.
So in terms of how we can work together, we do a lot of training, workshop seminars and conferences, and put on courses, technology courses, like food processing or food technology courses. On international program, actually, we can look at specific projects, like some of the projects I talk about, whether in Nigeria and Kenya, or the projects in China. Or we have done scientific exchange, actually, where a scientist will come and do research in certain area to gain some experience here. We partner with research organizations, as I indicated. In fact, we are looking to partner with the research institute in Nigeria called FIRO, actually. And we also do basically knowledge transfer. Without any work, to be able to share some of the work that we do, the ones that we can publish. The one thing aspect I should mention, that the reason we are able to do so many different things for so many different companies, confidentiality is key to what we do. I cannot discuss your project. If I take a project that relates to what the other person is doing, we will not take it. We will find another center like us that will take your project on. So confidentiality is very important for companies, and that is why companies come to open their books and give us the privilege to understand their business very well, actually, so we cannot abuse that trust.
Alors, différentes façons de collaborer dans le développement de projets avec les collaborateurs, l'échange au niveau des scientifiques, les spécialistes, les partenariats avec les organisations qui font de la recherche. Au cœur de tout ce qu'ils font, au niveau du transfert des connaissances, tout ça, il y a une dimension qui est très, très, très importante pour le centre, c'est la confidentialité. C'est-à-dire, si votre compagnie vient et vous faites affaire avec le centre, et c'est avec les livres ouverts. Alors, ils ne veulent pas qu'un compétiteur vienne et puis ramasse les idées. Alors, ici, ça fait partie de l'éthique de la place. Ils ont une bonne réputation pour la confidentialité.
I just thought I'd walk you through some of the things you're going to see, actually, as you go on the tour. Actually, I know the places actually, there used to be a time where library was very important. But today, with the technology age, scientists sit on their desk and use the computer and do their research, actually. So we don't use the library as much as some of the old folks like us, we still rely on it. Oh, sorry. Okay, you take it.
Donner l'exemple de la bibliothèque, c'est la vieille bibliothèque, it still exists.
Yes, yes, yes.
Évidemment, maintenant, tout est fait à l'ordinateur, et puis les gens, alors, à part les gens qui sont plus âgés, là, qui aiment encore aller toucher le livre.
Yes. And then this is what our labs look like. Actually, when we finish the renovation, that's what the food lab, where we bring companies in, the company work side by side with the scientists to develop the product.
Alors, vous voyez, c'est assez convivial, c'est ce qu'on dit dans les laboratoires, c'est pas sa cuisine, c'est exactement ce que vous allez voir tout à l'heure, ce sont les labos.
And in terms of analytical lab, where we do food testing, actually, this is what we have. We partner a lot for a lot of the chemistry work, but this is what we have for to support our research work.
Alors, sur le site, c'est les équipements qu'ils ont pour faire les analyses, mais ils sont aussi en partenariat avec d'autres institutions, comme Richardson Center, ces places-là, pour faire certaines analyses.
And you will see these two. This is one of the pilot plants that you will see for processing liquid food, beverages, and so on, juices, and so on.
Ça, ce que vous allez voir tout à l'heure, c'est tout ce qui est de l'embouteillage et puis le développement pour ce qui est des liquides.
And that's one of the technology we have to be able to turn liquid foods into powder.
Alors, c'est un genre de centrifuge, c'est pour prendre le liquide et faire de la poudre. Alors, vous avez la chance de voir ça.
And we actually have a warehouse also, so companies can store their product temporarily to be able to ship it out and so on. And you will see this here. Right? They're not as clean as it is now because they're all being used up now, which is a good thing.
Ça, c'est l'entrepôt quand il est vide. Mais là, il est plein, vous allez voir tout à l'heure. Et c'est un service qu'ils ont ici. C'est un entrepôt pour les produits avant qu'ils soient expédiés. And that's refrigerated.
No, that's a dry
The dry one.
Yeah, the dry storage. And I want to thank you very, very much, actually, for your attention, actually. And I welcome any specific questions that you may have.
Alors, Alfonso vous remercie beaucoup pour votre attention. Là, il va faire un test, un examen. Maintenant.
I would like you to know how glad I'm to be here because I'm coming from a country from Gabon, and in my country we import by 70 to 90% what we are eating. So I think it's very, very important for us to know what your center is doing. And it's not a question. It just, I just want to let you know that we will be very, very pleased to invite you in our country because we would like you to talk with our officials, because we have a large project in the country called GRAIN, Project GRAIN. We would like our population to go back to the land. And we need many things, such as training, expertise, and many cooperatives also needs this kind of expertise. We have many local products we would like to transform for our population first, and after that to exports. And that's why my expectation is clear. We would like to invite you in our country for that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much actually for that standing invitation. And I want to say that it is actually something we've done, and we are very pleased that the government supports us being able to collaborate with international companies. We've been invited, particularly the model we have here actually, where we can go and ensure people actually using simple technologies actually. We assess the countries we go to, we assess the level of technology they should start with, that they need to start somewhere, and then they can add on actually. And that's how we work. But the project in Kenya, here we use a little bit high-tech type thing that we do. But what we developed for them was the process that they can do it in the rural area and start in the rural area to be able to turn beans into peanuts actually. So the kids can put this packaged product, get to school, and then they can eat it. And it has no allergy actually. So that's the kinds of things that we can offer. So thank you actually. And we look forward to continuing the discussion with you.
Yes, thank you. I just want to put the emphasis of what the Ambassador of Gabon said, and I think that three of them will say almost the same things. That means Nigeria High Commissioner, Burkina Faso Ambassador, and even the Mali. We have a representation of Mali here. I think that when I came here last week, I didn't know exactly what food development means when Mr. Alain gave me the names. But when I came here, I was surprised with you. I said, oh my goodness, we had never known this can exist. Really, next week, I told for ambassadors already that from next week, I want to go around the companies I visited for the next step. The next step is to know how can we plan to go to visit those countries. I will come back with you. I will send you the schedule, how I will come back with you. I just want to appreciate, as the ambassador said, and the other also will appreciate. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Justin. Yes, please, sir.
Yes, I'd like to join my colleagues in appreciating the scope and the depth of what goes on here. I mean, this has been very enlightening for me as a person. I mean, this is like an education, because there's so much that I've seen here today that simply, blows my mind. As my colleague from Gabon has said, we also in Nigeria are at the stage whereby agriculture has assumed pride of place. There's a strong desire for us to be able to feed ourselves, because I think we have all the resources, we have the arable land and the crops in place, but over years we somehow neglected agriculture, and that is changing now. The present administration, there's a strong desire for us to get back to the land and see what we can do. And this takes things to the next level, because this is quite advanced in terms of what it's able to accomplish. And I was happy to see the slide in which you already highlighted ways in which we can work together. And I believe that's very encouraging for us. It gives us a chance also to go back and give some very serious thought as to things we can do in very, very specific terms. And so we're really very pleased with this. I'm very glad I came here today. This has really been very much worth it. I do have one question. And that question has to do, it's just a matter of my own personal curiosity. It has to do with how you go about the whole business of tasting. how do you conduct that? Like, I'm interested in that. How does that happen? Who do you get to do that for you? Are you taking applicants for that work? Oh, they're great. I'll send you my CV.
I can tell you that actually there are some products that we do, and the lineup is very long. And there's some products that I do with my colleagues here, and no, when you say how many people, nobody will put up their hands. So yes, in fact, I used to say actually that when I came here, I used to be a very slave person. And then I came here actually.
Occupational hazard.
So thank you very much.
Oui. D'accord. Alors, pour faire la diversité, moi je vais parler en français.
Oui, c'est bon.
Ça fait qu'il y aura anglais et puis français.
Yeah.
Mais en fait, je ne vais pas dire quelque chose de différent de ce qu'ils viennent de dire. C'est vraiment encore pour remercier ceux qui nous ont permis d'avoir cette opportunité de découvrir une si grande industrie qui est, j'allais dire, la porte-voix de l'industrie agroalimentaire au niveau du Manitoba. Étant donné aussi que Manitoba occupe une place assez importante dans l'industrie agroalimentaire du Canada, donc du Canada. Du même coup, comme vous l'avez si bien dit, vous avez visité un peu le Burkina, surtout dans sa partie ouest. Et vous savez que nous produisons beaucoup de mangue, mais on n'arrive pas à les transformer. La seule unité industrielle qui était véritablement le fleuron n'arrive même pas à transformer 1% des mangues que nous produisons. Et ça, ce n'est qu'un exemple. Et dans ces derniers temps, le gouvernement burkinabé avait la volonté aussi de transformer la tomate que nous produisons. Ce n'est qu'un projet, parce que 90% des tomates que le Burkina produit, c'est transporté pour aller au Ghana ou bien quelque part parce que nous n'arrivons pas à les transformer. Je pense quand même que c'est des opportunités qui, ma foi, nous ont inspirés. Et je pense que déjà avec ces informations que nous avons, ça doit être un début de partenariat qui doit nous permettre en tout cas de mûrir la réflexion pour voir comment capitaliser tout cela.
The ambassador from Burkina Faso, Africa, concurs in the same direction, and transformation is key for the future of their agri-food business. We've mentioned, like we lose a lot of products. Like I gave the example of the la mangue, in English, mangoes, and that too. You know, all the fruits, but one of the issues, a lot of the things they produce is very often exported because they don't have the capacity to do the transformation. They see like an opportunity for transformation, especially in working collaboratively with the centers such as this one. That has so many different ways of helping and contributing to the agribusiness internationally. And I think what we've heard so far, from our friends here, is that they're open for business and for communicating with Justin offers his services. Let's hope we can build bridges.
Thank you, and thank you very much, Ambassador. In fact, it is also, in fact, I am actually that as I talk about the food processing, the part of it is really import replacement. Because a lot of those countries, actually, you go, if you look at the label, they're all imported products. But you look at the abundance of what they grow, what they have there. It's not being transformed, not being preserved, so that you can minimize it. You can actually, when the other angle of it, you start processing that, transforming that. Instead of just replacing the import, you now become the exporter, which is really very good for a country. So thank you very much for that.
Excellencies, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here this morning. And I want to thank Justine and CDEM for arranging this visit to this center. Last week I was discussing with my High Commissioner about the Food Development Center. We were planning to visit this place, not knowing that by attending the ECCA conference, we will be here to know what you are doing here. Having said that, I joined voice with my ambassadors to thank you so much for this enlightenment and for the great work you are doing here. Whether this is a question or a remark, let me bring it forth. Now, I ask this question or make this remark from the background of the fact that all countries represented here are active players in the United Nations system. Canada is a very active member of the UN. Canada is a front-line country in the United Nations peacekeeping operations around the world, like Nigeria and some other countries. Now, Africa, I do not know, I think it's not an exaggeration to say that it is the food basket of the world. And if we get it right in agriculture, then a lot of problems and issues we hear about in Africa will be over. Crisis and instability, insecurity would have been over. Now, the leadership of the United Nations not long ago sat together and put together the United Nations Agenda 2030, which we generally call the Sustainable Development Goals. The number 2 of those goals aims at ending hunger, achieving food security, and improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. If agriculture in Africa is made right, the problems of youth unemployment will be over. Thank God Manitoba government is diversifying like all other countries in Africa. Now, I want to challenge the Food Development Center. If you decide to help Africa get it right in agriculture, you would have helped the world ultimately, or invariably. You would have helped reduce the problem of insecurity, the problem of hunger. In as much as there is so much food in the world today, not less than 800 million people from UN records go hungry every day. Not less than 800 million people across the world. So, looking forward, looking into the future, I urge the Food Development Center to see what plans you can put in place to go beyond what you are doing currently. Most nations in Africa are poor. The resources and funding is not there. Canada is rich, Manitoba is rich. How can you, with a view to helping curb and reduce hunger in the world, hunger in Africa, insecurity in Africa, assist governments in Africa? Like you said, a lot of food products are wasted every day. You can get funding from Canada and organizations in Canada and pump into assisting the development of agriculture in Africa. And at the end of the day, the applause, you are receiving here, you will get a louder one at the end of the day. Thank you.
Yes, I don't want to remind you that we have to go fast because we have to leave here normally at 11 maximum. so we can have a small minute. I know that if you go to the detail here, we spend all day. It's very important, this matter. In the morning, excellent, you remind that before we leave there, I told them where we are going is one of the important African needs. So I know that we want to share, but please, let's just conclude to go to visit because we have to leave before 11:50 for the other meeting.
The last comment
I will come back next week.
The last comment we've just heard is very important. It is a challenge. I think it's a welcome challenge for Canada. You know that Canada has many structures to help. We've worked with Burkina Faso and Mali for 5 years with the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. There's programs in place. There's ways of building bridges and then extending the services we provide here. It is not in the mandate of CDEM to organize what we've done. The only reason we've done it is because part of our challenge locally is the value-added process we can bring to agriculture. As you know, the Francophone and the bilingual communities are about 80% of our territory is where you find the Red River Valley, where you find the best land in Manitoba. It's the same thing in Saskatchewan. Corame is here. We got the opportunity to pick the best land, like in the country. But the challenge, and that's the reason they created the Food Development Center, is that 30% of what we produce in Manitoba is transformed, compared to, if you take Quebec, it's 80%. Here we have a state-of-the-art Food Development Center with an expertise and with the tools and also with the scientists to bridge, with the world. And that's probably the richness we have in our backyard. When we've selected the Food Development Center as part of the tour, it was mainly because we knew it would make sense. Not only for you, but it belongs to what we're trying to do within the REDE, whether it's Saskatchewan or Manitoba. We have a gold mine, and we want to make sure that we do the best of it. Alfonso, the closing remarks?
Yes. And on behalf of my colleagues, Javier and Robin, I want to take this opportunity to thank you, ambassadors, for leading this delegation to come and see our facility here. I can assure you in terms of the challenge, we have pointed people to some of the programs that Canada has, and I think that's one of the things I want to encourage you and your support staff to look at programs like the CDEM, to look at the programs like IDRA. Some of the projects I'm talking about in some of these African countries are handled through that CDEM, through IDRC grants to be able to support it. But for you to come and see the humble beginnings of where we started and see where we are today, it does take work, it takes commitment. It cannot be built like this in one day. It has to start slowly. But I can assure you that through working with us here at the Food Center, and through you working with our governments to try and provide us that support to be able to work with you, I think that would go a very long way. And I want to thank you. Thank you very much. Actually, I think next time you could do the presentation because you would.
I've been here too many times. Every visit, I discover something new. Je suis souvent venu ici grâce au travail qu'on faisait avec le Mali et le Burkina Faso. Ça a été vraiment un partenaire de premier plan.
Yes, so really, I want to thank you very much. And I leave my business card here for you, for those of you that haven't had my business card. And we certainly would like to stay in touch. I'm not sure whether you've got a time to walk through the plan or whether...
we'll take the time.
We can just do a walkthrough,
yes.
Javier. But one thing is we will take your rings, please, because it's a food plant. Please put it in your pockets. Your watches in your pockets, actually. And ladies, here, because it's a food plant, that's why we have that HACCP recognized plant. Please, that's very key. Please don't put it in the pockets of the lab coats.
Envoyez votre argent ici.
We have let's go to that for
20 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
We can just throw it, actually. Thank you. Yes.
These are local products from here.
It's on the garbage.
These ones right here? No, these ones are pretty expensive.
But maybe when they finish, yeah.
Yes.
No.
Avec l'immigration, on a des gens qui viennent ici, qui deviennent des précieux collaborateurs des arbres de Sosthène à Gabon. Merci, tout à fait spécial. À chaque visite, c'est une découverte. Et puis, merci pour la visite en français. Vous voulez ajouter quelque chose, Ambassadeur?
Non, c'est surtout les remercier pour leur disponibilité, parce que nous aussi, on va organiser un forum économique et qui va faire venir des Burkinabés ici au Canada, notamment le ministre du Commerce et le ministre de l'Énergie, et puis certainement d'autres acteurs, surtout avec la Chambre de commerce. Et ainsi de suite, ils vont venir. Et ça aussi sera l'occasion, encore une fois de plus, parce que nous allons transmettre le message, mais comme ça sera au Canada, en temps opportun, on vous reviendra pour que si l'entreprise va avoir un représentant, pour faire des exposés, ça rassure encore plus pour que le partenariat en tout cas puisse prendre corps.
Excellent.
Comme le dit Excellence, c'est le résumé de ce que je vous ai dit tout à l'heure. C'est une visite de passage. Mais à partir de la semaine prochaine, je vais me remettre en contact avec les différentes entités que j'ai contactées. La plupart sont déjà en train de vouloir, j'ai reçu des emails qui veulent connaître la suite. Donc j'ai dit à tous hier de permettre à ce qu'on finisse, parce qu'il n'y a pas seulement vous, et nous sommes convaincus que ce que les ambassadeurs ont découvert est très utile. Donc dès la semaine prochaine, je crois que le temps de dormir un peu, après je me réveille, je serai en contact avec leurs excellences. Pour ce qu'il dit de Burkina Faso, il en avait parlé quand j'étais avec M. Lualin. Et je crois qu'on entre dans cette phase-là. Et comme il le dit, le pays des hommes intègres ne fait pas à moitié. Donc voilà, ils vont jusqu'au bout.
C'est ça qui est
et voilà. Donc très tôt, vous serez informés du processus.
Excellent.
En tout cas, nous vous remercions. Et transmettez nos remerciements à Irine. Roberta, voilà.
Au Canada, on utilise beaucoup le prénom.
Voilà.
J'ai constaté
convivialité.
Ne me dérange pas que je vous prenne une photo. Pour une fois, on l'a dans la photo. Il faut profiter. Voilà mon appareil aussi. Tu viens?
Mohamed, vas-y.
Il ne faut pas le cajoler, il est dangereux.
On a travaillé avec eux.
C'est pas pour le cas, c'est les jeunes, c'est pas pour le tu connais pas les règles, tu connais pas le champion.
Tu connais pas
Tu connais pas ça, cette génération-là, c'est une génération perdue.
On va défendre là où est-ce que j'étais. Laissez les dames venir en avant. Les dames sont en arrière. Je ne vois pas les dames là. Ladies at the front. Oh, please.
Yeah. That's the one. It's free.
Personnellement, ça me dérange. La lumière, là, ça me dérange.